Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video looking at theories of development, focusing on post-development theory. A more critical view of development comes in the form of post-development theory. But what is post-development theory? Post-development theory examines the failings of development policy, particularly those that were enforced upon the developing world by Western nations. It also looks to provide tailored solutions that fit the particular social, economic and cultural needs of specific developing nations, rather than adopting the one-size-fits-all approach of neoliberalism or modernization theory. Post-development theory suggests that development policy to date has largely been focused on an ethnocentric model of Western consumption, and that these models were based upon historical modes of development such as the Industrial Revolution in Western Europe. They argue that these models are insufficient and fail to take into account local customs, values and historical conflicts between individual groups, and that this is often the reason that development fails. This reliance upon Western expertise rather than utilising the wealth of local knowledge that exists. A key sociologist to examine when looking at post-development theory is Arturo Escobar, who criticises development policy for its insistence on using Western models of development in other areas of the world. Escobar argues that the culture, economy and social infrastructures of Asian, South American and African nations is markedly different to that of Western Europe and the USA, and that trying to apply Western ideas to such diverse cultures has led to the failure of many development projects. Furthermore, rather than use local knowledge, development policies have been reliant upon Western TNCs to provide solutions to problems they are not fully aware of. The use of aid has done little to grow these nations, often because it's not given to those with local knowledge. Instead, it is assumed that there is a Western superiority in developing an economic and social infrastructure. Escobar cites examples including the imposition of Western curriculums on schools and utilising Western approaches to medicine. His main argument is that while the developing world does need assistance, they should be engaged at all stages of development policy, rather than having changes enforced upon them. Post-development theory looks to challenge ideas that development is best measured through using economic measures, arguing that social measures reflect the cultural backgrounds of non-Western societies better. One such example is the Gross National Happiness Scale that was developed in the Kingdom of Bhutan that measures the satisfaction that individuals have with their lives. In Bhutan, community, health, family and enlightenment are more important than material gains. While Bhutan has a low level of economic wealth, its people prefer well-being over wealth. A similar concept is that of buen vivir, literally translated as good living, an approach that is becoming more commonplace in parts of South America and focuses on the importance of health, well-being, community and enlightenment over material wealth. This contrasts with Western societies where success is measured in wealth, and so policies are aimed at producing more wealth rather than tackling social issues in society. Post-development theory rejects the top-down approach of other development theories, such as modernization and neoliberals, both of whom believe in the trickle-down effect, one that suggests that wealth filters down the social class hierarchy of nations. Instead, they prefer people-centered approaches that look at development from a bottom-up approach. An advantage of this model is that it empowers individuals to find solutions for themselves and utilises their local knowledge to produce sustainable and workable solutions to the issues promoted by development. One example of this is changing the functions of education, which in some South American societies see as being focused on enlightenment rather than developing skills for employment. A second example is the rejection of westernized healthcare systems and the role of big pharma, instead replacing these with localized clinics and alternative therapies. Whilst critics may suggest that this is not based upon science, it is a more holistic solution to problems that exist, and it's also less profitable for Western TNCs. There are many benefits to post-development approaches, although often they are small scale and therefore have less impact. They do, however, recognise that development needs to be centred on the needs of those in the developing world, rather than industrial capitalist nations. Post-development theory offers a more holistic view of development, one which addresses the idea of development as positive change rather than economic growth. Post-development theories have also influenced many radical ideas, such as the concept of degrowth, a desire to balance the social, economic and ecological issues that people are facing in the 21st century, and this concept is becoming increasingly popular in highly developed nations, for example Japan. However, critics suggest that post-development theory sees all cultures as having equal value, and this means that they support the right of cultures to continue in practices that may be seen as immoral or unethical in the Western world. This insistence on cultures being seen as equal is called cultural relativism, and whilst in theory is an egalitarian concept, it also means that practices such as female genital mutilation, forced marriage and child labour have equal cultural relevance as Western practices of gender equality and child protectionism, which can be problematic for sociologists. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on theories of development, focusing on post-development theory. Thanks for watching.